I'm Fletcher Roden, and this is Tracking the Lone Wolf, based on my new book, Tracking the Lone Wolf, the Sigma at Home, at Work, and at Play. Today on Tracking the Lone Wolf, active listening. Tracking the Lone Wolf is a twice-monthly show with fascinating information that's vital to just about everyone, so I suggest that you like the video and subscribe to this channel. The book is available in paperback and for Kindle and in audiobook format from Audible or other platforms. I am a public speaker, and you can learn more about that at the website trackingthelonewolf.com. Active listening is a key practice in many of the skill sets that I look at in my book, Tracking the Lone Wolf. It's important to understand the Sigma, to be understood by the Sigma, and to understand and to be understood by virtually everybody else in all three theaters of life: the professional, the familial, or the social. In other words, at work, at home, or at play. Active listening is important, and a lot of people, strangely, never do it. They have never even given any thought to the existence of such a thing. And yet it's so crucial to our interrelation with one another. Active listening, in essence, means you're not just sitting there waiting to talk, which is what a lot of people are doing. Not only are they not actively listening, they're not listening at all. But if they are listening, they're listening for cues, they're listening for straight lines, they're listening for personality cues, they're reading you. But a lot of times they're just waiting to talk. And this is not a part of any good, clear communication skill set. This is a good way to miscommunicate. This is a good way to fail to communicate. In any theater, if you're in the familial theater at home and you complain that your spouse doesn't communicate or that your children are not communicative, well, maybe you're not listening. Maybe you're too busy thinking about yourself. Or maybe they just don't have any experience with you actively listening, so they've given up trying. Now, what is it when we say active listening? When you're actively listening, you are focusing only on the person. You're not thinking about anything else. Not another problem that you have, not some goal that you are striving toward, or some problem you're trying to solve. You focus on that person. Active listening entails repeating the information to yourself. That is a technique, an active technique that you can use with discipline. Instead of just sitting there phasing out, listen as if it were an activity. And part of this activity is repetition. Someone says to you, "I've got a problem with my wife." Say to yourself, he's got a problem with his wife, or she has a problem with her wife. Repeat it back to them. Paraphrase. "So, you've got a problem with your wife." This tells them that you're listening. It's not enough merely to repeat it to yourself, but you have to tell them that they're being heard. That will encourage more expression, clearer communication. Then you process the information. It's not enough just to repeat it. You're not a parrot. You're not just repeating words back. You're collecting the information in order to process it into a presumption, some kind of presumption. For example, you're having problems with your wife because you're not communicating clearly. Once you have a presumption, you can work toward a remedy. Okay, how can we help you and your wife communicate more clearly? And then implementation of a solution. Problem solving. Well, why don't you go home and sit down with your wife and practice some of the clear communication skills that you're going to find in Tracking the Lone Wolf, the Sigma at Work, at Home, and at Play. And you'll open up those channels of communication. This is active listening. It's not just about listening with fervor. You're not just listening with gusto. You're listening with an eye toward conflict resolution. And there are stages. Listen, repeat to yourself, repeat back to them, seek for a presumption. Use the presumption to find a remedy. You find a protocol then to implement the remedy. Another key ingredient to active listening is empathy. Now, a lot of people actually don't know what empathy is, but it is crucial to a successful life in any of the three theaters, either at work or at home or at play. Empathy is the ability to feel what others feel, in essence. We'll talk about it more in an upcoming edition of Tracking the Lone Wolf. But for now, let us just say that the ability not only to sympathize with what others think and feel, and that is crucial to active thinking, to active listening, rather, is the ability to understand a person's perspective, sympathy, but also empathy, to be able to understand the origins of their emotions, even to share their emotions, to find your own emotions which correlate so that you can really understand this person. Because you're not just hearing their words, but you're listening to their emotional resonance. So it ties into emotional intelligence and communication skills and other things that we discuss here on this show, Tracking the Lone Wolf, and which I discuss in my book, Tracking the Lone Wolf, the Sigma at Work, at Home, and at Play. Now let's talk a little bit about the Sigma when it comes to active listening. The Sigma is a natural-born active listener. The Sigma is compassionate. The Sigma is a naturally curious, naturally likes to perceive. It's a perceptive personality. When we say judge, and that's something else we'll discuss in another episode, but the lone wolf does have a propensity for judgment, not in a judgmental sort of a way, but nonetheless, the lone wolf comes to conclusions through all that perception. So the lone wolf is going to be actively listening. They're very good listeners. If you have a problem, if you're in the workplace or in the home or in your social life, and there's a Sigma, you can go to that person with your troubles. They will be an active listener. It's natural for them. They will not be as forthcoming with their own, but they will be an active listener. And for you Sigmas out there, this is one of your survival skills because you're already on the outside looking in. That's where the lone wolf is. So actively listening helps you to understand 99% of the world out there. And it may even help them to understand you. So be deliberate with your listening. This is something everybody should know in every theater of life, Sigma or no matter where they are in life, at what stage, particularly the young, teenagers, really have to learn how to listen actively and process information. And they can get that from my book and a whole lot more if they read Tracking the Lone Wolf, the Sigma at Work, at Home, and at Play. It's available in paperback and Kindle and audiobook format from Audible and other platforms. Visit the website, trackingthelonewolf.com. I'm Fletcher Roden, and this has been Tracking the Lone Wolf. See you again.